Success isn't just about having talent, it's about staying committed to your goals, even when the path gets tough. Angela Duckworth discovered this truth during her early career as a teacher, where she noticed something unusual. Her most successful students weren't necessarily the most gifted. Instead, they were the ones who worked hardest, stayed focused, and refused to give up. This observation sparked her fascination with what she later called grit, a combination of passion and perseverance that matters more than talent alone in achieving extraordinary results. In the introduction to Grit, The Power of Passion and Perseverance, Duckworth lays the groundwork for understanding why grit is the key to long-term success. Through years of research, she found that grit is what separates top performers, athletes, artists, business leaders, and even cadets at West Point, from those who fall short of their goals. It's not about brilliance or innate skill. It's about showing up consistently, putting in the work, and staying committed to a purpose. Duckworth's own journey mirrors the very principles she studies. From leaving a high-profile consulting job to teaching public school students, she learned firsthand the value of effort and persistence. Her story and research set the stage for a deeper dive into the science and strategies behind developing grit, both as individuals and within a culture. Part 1. What Grit Is and Why It Matters. Chapter 1. Showing Up. In this chapter, Angela Duckworth introduces the core principle that drives grit, the importance of showing up, even when the initial excitement fades or obstacles arise. Grit isn't just about raw talent, it's about persistence, continuing to work toward a goal day after day, despite the inevitable setbacks. Duckworth draws from her experience in teaching, where she saw that the most successful students were not always the brightest, but they were the ones who kept going, even when the work was difficult. They demonstrated something far more powerful than talent, a relentless drive to keep trying. Chapter 2. Distracted by Talent. Duckworth argues that society places too much emphasis on natural talent. From sports stars to child prodigies, the idea of giftedness can often overshadow the importance of effort. Talent may give a head start, but it's persistence, passion, and hard work that ultimately lead to achievement. Duckworth uses research and real-world examples to challenge the belief that success comes easily to the naturally gifted. Instead, she points out that talent may provide a small advantage, but grit is what leads to sustained success over time. Chapter 3. Effort Counts Twice. In this chapter, Duckworth presents a simple but powerful equation. Talent times effort equals skill. Skill times effort equals achievement. Duckworth demonstrates that effort is crucial at every step of the process. Talent can get you started, but it's the application of effort that builds skill. Then once you have developed skill, it's effort that transforms those skills into real, lasting achievement. This formula emphasizes that effort amplifies both talent and skill, making it an essential ingredient in the recipe for success. Chapter 4. How Gritty Are You? Duckworth introduces the grit scale, a tool she developed to measure one's level of grit. Through surveys and interviews with students, professionals, and military personnel, Duckworth examines the traits that contribute to high levels of grit. The scale assesses how consistent individuals are in pursuing their long-term goals, even when faced with adversity. Duckworth shares fascinating findings from her research, showing that people with high grit scores tend to achieve more than those with high talent but low grit. This chapter serves as a self-reflection tool for readers to assess their own grit levels. Chapter 5. Grit Grows. Duckworth challenges the idea that grit is a fixed trait that you either have or don't. Instead, she argues that grit can be developed over time. Through a combination of deliberate practice, pursuing meaningful goals, and learning to overcome setbacks, anyone can increase their level of grit. Duckworth draws on examples from her studies where individuals who initially lacked grit were able to cultivate it by focusing on their passions, practicing deliberately, and adopting a growth mindset. The message here is clear. Grit is not something you're born with. It's something you can nurture and strengthen over time. Part 2. Growing Grit from the Inside Out. Chapter 6. Interest Passion doesn't appear overnight. It begins with finding something that sparks your interest. Duckworth emphasizes that before passion can take hold, you need to develop a genuine interest in the task at hand. She explains that interest is the entry point to passion and ultimately to grit. The key, Duckworth argues, is to expose yourself to a variety of activities to discover what truly excites and engages you. Once interest is ignited, it can evolve into a deeper passion, providing the foundation for sustained effort over time. Duckworth encourages readers to experiment, remain open-minded, and explore new things in order to uncover the areas that hold long-term appeal. Chapter 7. Practice. Deliberate practice is the secret weapon for cultivating mastery and building grit. Duckworth introduces the idea that simply practicing something is not enough. True improvement comes from intentional, focused effort designed to push you beyond your comfort zone. Deliberate practice requires breaking down a skill into specific components and working on them systematically. It often involves seeking feedback, making adjustments, and embracing challenges. Duckworth references studies on athletes, musicians, and professionals to show how those who engage in deliberate practice not only improve their skills faster, but also develop the perseverance necessary to achieve high levels of performance. Chapter 8. Purpose passion becomes even more powerful when it's connected to a sense of purpose. Duckworth explains that when your work benefits others or contributes to a cause larger than yourself, it can deepen your commitment and fortify your grit. Purpose adds meaning to the hours of practice and effort, providing the motivation needed to keep going when things get tough. Duckworth discusses how individuals who see their work as part of a bigger picture, whether it's helping a community, improving society, or contributing to an organization, tend to have stronger perseverance and greater success. She explains that purpose can turn passion into a sustainable source of motivation, driving people to continue pushing forward even in the face of challenges. Chapter 9. Hope is the mental fuel that powers perseverance. Duckworth explores how a hopeful mindset, rooted in the belief that you can improve through effort and learning, is essential for overcoming obstacles. Hope is deeply intertwined with the concept of a growth mindset, the idea that abilities and intelligence can be developed through hard work and dedication. Duckworth argues that when individuals maintain hope, they are more likely to persist through difficulties because they believe that their efforts will ultimately lead to improvement. She emphasizes that hope isn't a passive feeling, but an active, ongoing choice to keep striving, even when immediate results are not visible. This mindset, Duckworth notes, helps individuals navigate setbacks, learn from failure, and stay resilient on their journey toward long-term success. Part 3. Growing grit from the outside. In Chapter 10, Parenting for Grit. In this chapter, Duckworth examines the crucial role parents, mentors, and teachers play in developing grit in children. She argues that while children may have innate tendencies, it's the support and high expectations of the adults around them that help foster perseverance and resilience. Duckworth discusses how parents should balance nurturing with setting challenges and expectations. This combination allows children to develop a sense of responsibility and independence while learning to push through difficulties. She also highlights the importance of modeling grit, showing children through actions that effort and persistence lead to success. By offering encouragement, setting attainable goals, and encouraging a growth mindset, adults can help children cultivate long-term perseverance in their pursuits. Chapter 11. The Playing Fields of Grit. Duckworth expands the concept of grit by exploring how extracurricular activities, particularly sports, serve as a training ground for developing perseverance in young people. These activities present challenges, competition, and the opportunity for failure, which are critical for building grit. Duckworth explains how playing sports or participating in other challenging activities helps children learn the value of effort and persistence. Sports in particular provide immediate feedback, making them an ideal environment for cultivating the mindset that skill and success are achieved through hard work. She also notes that extracurriculars teach how to handle setbacks, build teamwork, and develop focus, all of which contribute to grit. These lessons learned on the playing field are transferable to other areas of life, helping individuals develop resilience that supports them in their personal and professional lives. Chapter 12. A Culture of Grit. The final chapter in Part 3 looks at how an entire culture, whether it's a family, school, or organization, can encourage and nurture grit. Duckworth discusses how environments with high expectations, Supportive structures and a focus on perseverance can inspire individuals to push past challenges. She draws on examples from the military, such as the U.S. Army's rigorous selection process for special forces, to demonstrate how cultures of grit foster resilience. In business and schools, she shows how organizations that emphasize effort over talent and that create systems for overcoming setbacks produce more successful individuals. Duckworth emphasizes that a culture of grit doesn't just come from one individual, it's a collective effort that influences everyone involved. Creating a culture where perseverance is valued and failure is seen as part of the learning process helps individuals thrive, adapt, and stay committed to long-term goals. The power of passion and perseverance, Angela Duckworth reflects on the profound implications of her research. She reiterates that grit is not an innate trait, but a lifelong journey of development. Duckworth emphasizes that cultivating grit takes time, requires consistent effort, and often involves overcoming significant obstacles. However, the rewards are well worth it. Grit is the key to achieving success in any field, from education to business to personal growth. Duckworth closes the book by offering actionable advice for readers on how to cultivate grit in themselves and others. She encourages individuals to set long-term goals. Grit thrives when you have a clear sense of purpose. Knowing what you're working toward, even when the immediate results are not visible, helps maintain motivation. Practice deliberate effort. Engaging in focused, structured practice is vital for improvement. Whether you're learning a new skill or striving for a personal goal, consistent, deliberate effort is crucial. Foster a growth mindset. Viewing challenges as opportunities to grow rather than as threats is essential for developing resilience and perseverance. By believing that abilities can be developed through effort, you'll be more likely to stay committed to your goals, even in the face of adversity. Create supportive environments. Whether you're a parent, teacher, or leader, you have the power to influence the development of grit in others. Setting high expectations, offering support, and modeling perseverance will inspire those around you to build their own grit. Duckworth closes with a reminder that grit is not just about working hard. It's about doing so with passion and purpose. She invites readers to embrace the process of growing grit as part of their journey to achieving meaningful, long-term success.